So, WWE's NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way event happened this past Thursday, and I said I would do a review of it, so here it is. Before I get into the actual matches, something that some fans may not know, and I've said it a couple of times before on my videos, but something that some people may not know, because a lot of more subscribers now. The name NXT actually comes from a Scottish concept. It was actually an organisation called the Scottish Wrestling Alliance, company based near Glasgow. They actually owned the name NXT before WWE decided to have that name for their now developmental system and bought the name actually off the Scottish Wrestling Alliance. So a little bit of interesting, possibly useless fact there, but NXT is definitely obviously for the next generation, the next level of WWE superstars, and I have to say I was quite impressed with what I saw at Fatal 4-Way. Now, firstly, there was supposed to be a dark match that didn't air between Paige and Becky Lynch, who is a relatively new Irish NXT women's star. She's actually apparently really good. I haven't seen much of her because I haven't watched every single episode of NXT lately. But Paige defeated her in a dark match. That's obviously non-cameras. Possibly was recorded, but they do that normally for so that they can test the cameras, test the sound, test all the equipment before the show gets underway. And of course, this show was live on the WWE Network and it actually aired here in the UK on Sky Sports 3 on Saturday night at 11:30 p.m. Now, the first match of the night of the actual Fatal 4-Way NXT TakeOver show was the Lucha Dragons, Kalisto and Sin Cara, defeating The Ascension, Connor and Victor, for the NXT Tag Team Championship. This was an under 8-minute match. Obviously, Kalisto is being looked at as the guy to replace Rey Mysterio, who is well, depending on your opinion, has either left or is leaving WWE. He is actually still at this time under contract to the company, but will be leaving as soon as this legal wrangling of his contract actually finishes. Obviously, Sin Cara, now played by the guy we used to know as Hunico, he's actually putting up some decent performances in like Superstars and a couple of matches in NXT. Obviously, it's been Kalisto and Sin Cara got this match through a number one contendership tournament, and obviously I think it's obvious that Sin Cara is supposed to be mentoring Kalisto, like Rey Mysterio was supposed to do with the original Sin Cara. But it was a good, decent match. Obviously, High Flyers versus the Power Team of the Ascension, who actually bumped for Kalisto and Sin Cara very well. The almost Canadian Destroyer Cradle pile driver didn't quite go off properly between Kalisto and Victor, I think it was. But overall, it was a decent match, a good short match. And I said, Kalisto and Sin Cara, who seemed very popular with the NXT crowd, took the NXT Tag Team Championships, ending the Ascension's 344-day reign of those particular titles. Next match, we actually didn't see here in the UK on Sky Sports. It was Baron Corbin defeating CJ Parker in just 30 seconds. That didn't actually air as part of the show on Sky Sports, possibly because the way obviously we had it, Sky Sports, it's cut with adverts. Perhaps they didn't think there was enough time. They had to maybe have, I don't know what obviously the contractual things or what Sky Sports decides, but the show was 2 hours long. They may have just cut that in order to place in the adverts, although it was only 30 seconds. They could easily edit it a little bit, but Baron Corbin defeated CJ Parker in 30 seconds. Could this mark the end, kind of, possibly in NXT for CJ Parker? Hasn't been as successful, I don't think, in NXT as some people would have liked. But Baron Corbin's supposed to be a good talent. It's a little bit of pity we didn't actually get to see that match. The next match, fourth match on the card, Enzo Amore along with Colin Cassidy. And these two guys are actually genuinely been friends for about 10, 15 years. They met out playing basketball and around about the New Jersey area. I'm not entirely sure where in New Jersey, but apparently they met in real life about 10, 15 years ago. Been good friends ever since, and obviously they're working together in NXT. It was Enzo Amore defeating Sylvester Lafort in a hair versus hair match. This match was slightly a little bit far fetched because they had a little skit involving Enzo and Colin Cassidy in a hairdressers supposedly picking up some hair cream that supposedly had magical effects that instantly took off a lot of hair. There was a little bit where they pretend it was obviously just, I don't know, white cream or something. They had a little bit where it spilt over a dog, and apparently a big huge tuft of the dog's hair came off of the dog immediately. It was a little bit far fetched. This match was okay, two decent workers. It wasn't really a great match for the card. The one thing I will say about this though is Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy connect really well with the NXT crowd. A little bit Joey Tribbiani on How You Doing, if you watch the sitcom Friends. People, obviously some younger people that sometimes watch my videos will not know exactly entirely about the sitcom Friends. But that was one of Joey Tribbiani's catchphrases, How You Doing? It was kind of like his chat up line. They had a really good connection with the fans. They have a good, what you call, spiel. You know, they have a good actual a good repertoire of it's a little bit limited just now, but a decent repertoire of catchphrases and sayings. Obviously with NXT at Full Sail University, which is where this took place, it's a lot of it's the same crowd every week. So it'd be good to see how that would transfer to traveling around America. But obviously, that's one of the reasons why NXT is actually on television and and these specials are on WWE Network, so that fans can get to know these characters and these and the roster of NXT, and possibly can help it transfer to the main roster in WWE. But they have a good spiel. I said it was a half decent match. Sylvester Lafort wasn't actually the one that ended up getting his hair, getting himself covered in the hair cream that supposedly had magical properties that instantly took the effects. It was actually his associate Marcus Lewis that eventually got the bucket of the hair cream all over, and we saw him later on with just a couple of tufts of hair on his head. Andrew Amore and Cole Cassidy, if they work on their act, they could do, I think, half decently well if they go up to the main roster a bit eventually. But I think they do need a little bit work on the ring and the ring stuff to go forward. But promising stuff from both Enzo, Colin Cassidy, Sylvester Paul, and that Marcus Lewis. It was an okay bit of comedy for the night. After that match, it was the introduction of Hideo Itami. Now, formerly known as Kenta. Now, an international wrestling fan such as myself obviously will know Kenta for many years, and he is a tremendous talent. Former GHC heavyweight champion, several times junior heavyweight champion. He is a great talent. He's about 31 years old, I think, 31, 32 years old. He has got potential to make a really great impact, considering some of the independent stars that WWE have signed recently, Devitt, Kevin Steen, obviously Kenta himself has faced a couple of these guys before, so they could have absolutely brilliant matches in the future. Obviously, the name change I wasn't too sure of, but WWE likes to do that. Put their own stamp on people, like Cesaro was Claudio Castagnoli, Adrian Neville was Pac, Sami Zayn was obviously El Generico. Kind of protects the Kenta name though, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Kenta or Hideo Itami, as I should now start calling him, actually make his in-ring debut this coming week on NXT. I think it's Thursday night going into Friday night on Sky Sports. I think it's only uh, midnight on Friday that it is actually airing. That's Thursday going into Friday. I hate that when they advertise things about Thursday night 1 a.m. then it's not Thursday night 1 a.m. It's Friday night 1 a.m. You know, no wonder some people have trouble actually telling the time, and there is genuinely still people who do that because of things advertised like that. It's a bugbear of mine a little bit, but we look forward. He will make his in-ring debut this coming week. Obviously, we all saw on WWE.com he kicked the Ascension, had some great Misawa chops. Elbows to the Ascension. Really looking forward to seeing what this guy does in NXT. Next, I'm not really been convinced. This was a really short match as well. Bull Dempsey defeating Mojo Rawley. I'm not really convinced yet on Mojo Rawley. He's obviously an Ultimate Warrior type character. No, I don't get hyped, I stay hyped. Not hugely convinced by this guy as of yet. He has the potential possibly there. There's a lot of great coaches in NXT system now. Uh, and maybe it would be a good thing to tone down this hype thing slightly, because like I said, it's very Ultimate Warrior esque right at this time. Bull Dempsey, an old style, dressed up kind of like Taz with hair, um, defeated him very quickly. Not really seen a lot of Bull Dempsey, which I've not seen every episode lately of NXT, but it was a decent short match. Obviously, they're trying to push some other guys into the frame in NXT. Then it was Charlotte defending the NXT Women's Championship against Bayley. Now, Bayley is another one playing the fan card, what I call the fan card. Obviously, and I have to say, Renee Young, she didn't sometimes get the opportunity on commentary to speak properly on this takeover show. But she was certainly good, doing a really good job during this match of at least attempting. Because not unfortunately, the guys were talking over her slightly in this match. But Renee Young was really good at trying to put Bayley's position, put her character over. She's supposed to be a wrestling fan who's got the opportunity to wrestle. She's just happy to be there, just happy to get the opportunity. Charlotte was really dominant in this match. So the figure four neck lock on several times, which had figure four like one leg across Bayley's neck and the other kind of crossbar, the other leg crossbarring her leg. So she done about 3 or 4 times. She was very dominant. A lot of good, obviously Flair style chops. She is, of course, the daughter of the Nature Boy. Some really good technical offense by both these women. Bayley did a great top rope Hurricane Rana near the end of this match. Certainly, obviously, playing the fan underdog character has been done a few times, but I really enjoyed this match. Charlotte took the win eventually with her flip over kind of inverted DDT called the Natural Selection. Not entirely sure how to describe it best, but she took the victory. I would say though, Charlotte did a moonsault as well just before the end of this match, and I didn't really like it. I don't know whether she's still learning the moonsault because I know she did it at I think it was the last Takeover show. She she really landed on her knees and then uh kind of fell forward onto Bailey a little bit delayed. It's not really good. Ask any wrestler that does a moonsault, on a regular basis. It's really not good to land on your knees, and certainly in the show, obviously she's trying to. Obviously, everybody is trying to wrestle safely and not go out on do a stupid, um, a really stupid maneuver that could be a really silly. risk to themselves. They don't want to, especially on a big major show like that. But it just didn't look quite right. Hopefully, she maybe uh, work on it, get it done. I know maybe land it better. I don't know. Maybe the positioning was slightly wrong. I'm not a wrestler, so I don't quite know these things. But certainly landing on your knees is certainly not recommended. It really does ruin the knees. Ask a guy like Terry Funk, ask Kaijai Muto, the great Muta. It really does your knees in the moonsaults. Never mind landing on them. The last match was obviously the fatal four-way for the NXT Championship between Adrian Neville, the NXT champion, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Tyson Kidd. Now, this match was a really good match, match of the night, I would say. It obviously started and was a lot through it, split between heels, bad guys, and good guys, baby faces. Uh, Instantly as the match started, they split off. I think it was Adrian Neville and Tyson Kidd and Sami Zayn and Tyson Breeze, Tyler Breeze, fighting between themselves. It was a really good match. A lot of their signature maneuvers, shooting star press by Adrian Neville. Tyler Breeze came close to winning it 3 times. He actually hit uh, both the model kick, the beauty shot, came so close on several occasions to winning it. And I don't know why. Maybe other people have noticed this before, but I actually thought at a couple of points, obviously once he got in the match, he was sweating. He's, obviously his hair's normally in a ponytail, but obviously it tends to come out and flaps about. A couple of points, he did remind me of Flash Gordon from the 1980s film. Obviously, some people may have heard of it through the Ted film that was out. I think it was last year or earlier this year. I don't think it was last year. The film Ted about the live bear teddy bear. It's actually a really good movie, but he did remind me. I just had that look of Flash Gordon uh, right up close when the couple of the close-ups really did remind me of Flash Gordon. All four of these guys really put in the effort. Like I said, each obviously it's a very difficult match to do because you've got to kind of keep everybody busy. It kind of looks stupid if you are kind of standing there waiting, while two of the guys battle out or somebody gets a near fall. You're kind of it's like you're waiting for your next part of the match, the next organised spot of the match. It looks a little bit stupid if you're standing out there for too long. So you got to keep it busy. It's probably easier in a fatal four-way like this was rather than an elimination match because you've got to work in the eliminations. But I also thought in this match, looking at it, perhaps Tyson Kidd, although he's got a couple of good moves himself, perhaps he maybe should look for another move, either if he wants a submission move, perhaps another submission move rather than the sharpshooter, because obviously anybody related to the Hart family uses the sharpshooter. Maybe it's a bit overused with both him and his wife Natalia actually using the sharpshooter. Maybe you should maybe think of trying to invent, create, or use a move of his own. Just a thought. So he went obviously had Tyler Breeze in that movie. I thought I'd say Tyler Breeze took a lot of punishment in this match. Uh, but maybe he should think about using another submission match. But overall, it was a really good match. I'm not going to get every single spot because there's too many. Obviously, Sami Zayn did his dive through the corner of the turnbuckle to have a DDT. I think it was actually on Tyson Kidd. And some really good planches, really good dives by Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn. Absolutely, really good match. I'd suggest if you can go and watch it, if you've got the WWE Network, go and watch that match. Really cannot do it justice. Adrian Neville took the win on this match after Sami Zayn had Tyson Kidd down. Uh, the referee was counting. Adrian Neville, who was on the outside, pulled the referee out and question mark. Could we be seeing Adrian Neville going heel, going a bad guy sometime soon. Both Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn faced up to each other in the run-up to Fatal 4-Way, certainly in the interviews on the pre-show we saw, in a couple of episodes of NXT we saw it, and especially obviously after Adrian Neville pulled the referee out, we heard the referee telling Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville pulled me out. So we could maybe be seeing either of these two guys, who obviously were the good guys, there's two good guys, two bad guys in this match, possibly going heel. Uh, I think possibly it would be better for Adrian Neville to go heel. He's For many years he's been a good guy, a hero wrestler, in Dragon Gate and across various promotions in Europe and Europe and Japan. He's been a really good guy. So possibly it would help him maybe help develop his wrestling skills if he was to actually go bad guy for a while. And I think that a revival of the feud between him and Sami Zayn, who they faced each other, search PAC versus El Generico on YouTube. You'll find a couple of matches, or at least some highlights of their matches. They were really, really good matches, and hopefully we will actually get to see this feud revived once again in NXT. So as I said, it was a really good match of the night for the main event. I have to say, overall, it was a really good match, and I think the NXT system, it has really got very good. Obviously, NXT started as a kind of talent show, and that's how we got the Nexus, and a lot of it in the early days was really silly, but now it's a proper developmental system for WWE. I know that many of the WWE staff, including Triple H, in interviews over these past few days, the night after Takeover, he has an interview. It's on WWE.com, or search WWE's YouTube channel. I think it may be on there as well. But he does an interview with Michael Cole, and he's done actually an interview with a couple of media stations, saying that he really is behind NXT. He really wants to push it as a brand. He really wants to have it as a proper developmental system. And obviously, you listen to the Talk is Jericho podcast, part 1 and part 2 with Triple H, and you'll hear him talk about how NXT really came from him. It really was like one of the first main projects that Vince McMahon gave him when they looked at the developmental system over, obviously, for many years actually. It's been very split. There's various developmental territories, if you will, different companies across America, literally across the whole of America and the United States, that had many different WWE developmental talents, from Memphis to Los Angeles at UPW to Ohio Valley Wrestling, to many other places, companies dotted around the United States. They were all split there, and obviously everything has been brought under one roof. And it really is fantastic to see WWE put this money, put this time, put this effort into actually setting up a developmental system. Now, obviously, WWE does not have everybody as a supporter, and I don't want to go on too long, but the state of WWE, the popularity of WWE as a whole, reflects a lot on other independent promotions. I don't think that WWE setting up NXT as it has done over the last 4 years or 5 years, and signing people like Devitt, Steen, Kenta, or Hideo Itami now, and various other independent stars, even Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, I don't think that will finish off the independent companies across the world, because people will know that there is more professional wrestling or sports entertainment than WWE. And I think with this work that WWE are doing for NXT, if they can help develop the talent to help make professional wrestling, or at least WWE sports entertainment, call it whatever you will, popular again, more in the mainstream. Obviously, it's a very much mainstream thing these days with all technology, the W network, the satellites, the cable providers, all it's seen in countries all around the world. But I think it would be a positive overall for the entire industry of professional wrestling if WWE puts all this time, this effort, this money, the backing into NXT to make NXT uh, a good spot for training wrestlers that will benefit WWE. Uh, the work there in NXT when they move up to the WWE roster. Hopefully, get a lot more fans watching WWE. Uh, help the popularity of WWE, and therefore it will reflect again on the popularity of independent wrestling. So I really think the future is very bright for NXT, and I think certainly in the long run that if the future is bright for NXT, the future can be bright for WWE, which means the future can be very bright for the professional wrestling independent or worldwide scene as a whole.